Good afternoon, everyone. Appreciate your time and checking out this opportunity with the Community Engagement Associates program that is out of the Office of Community Engagement and Partnerships at the USF Tampa campus. And so we just want to give you a brief overview of what the program is and how it may be valuable to you as students at particularly the St. Pete campus, but we are working towards this being open at all three campuses. So what is the Community Engagement Associates program? So quite simply, it is a program that matches eligible USF students who have federal work study in their financial aid package, have been awarded that, and they are placed with community partners. And they work with those agencies on a variety of things. And another thing we're working towards is marketing this to be very inclusive of all majors. So there are many different things that community partners do and need support in, and we want to be mindful of that. So you do have to have federal work study in your financial aid package. Usually this is the last line. When you go to OASIS and you open up your financial aid, it will be the last line that says FDRL work study. And you want to make sure you have accepted that award. If you're unclear about any of that at any time, you're welcome to reach out to me. My information, contact information will be at the end of this. And a way that this is fundamentally different from the way most folks think of federal work study positions is usually the majority of FWS positions are on campus. And that's great as well. That can be a great way to start building experience if you haven't had work experience before. Certainly there's the convenience factor of being on campus and so on. But the way our program functions is it really puts you in a real world experience to be able to work with professionals, see how a nonprofit, how an elementary school, how businesses are run, along those lines. And so in that, you're going to develop career skills that you're going to be able to put on your resume. And we do our best to try to match students with what interests them and can be of value to the community partners. So we try to make that mutually beneficial for everyone at the beginning of it. And so some of the things we look at, for example, are career competencies from these two agencies listed above, NACE and AAC&U. But what's really pivotal to note is some of these areas where they overlap. So communication is a big one, particularly through COVID. And as we continue through this pandemic, we know that communication is a big one. So we have students that work in person right now, that work remotely, or are in a hybrid model. So we're being flexible with the times that we're in currently. And regardless of how the position may work out, there is always a large majority of students will always cite communication, being able to improve their communication in the workplace, and whether it's oral or written. And, you know, if you think about the times that we're living in, we're in this digital age, and then COVID, I think, has only accelerated our use on technology. So that communication piece is really core. But there's many other skills, collaboration, problem solving. And so when you work with these agencies, you get to see how these things play out and gain these skills. A few important points. So the way the program works is you would apply to this position on Handshake or on careers at USF. You're also able to just reach out to me directly, and we will have an initial meeting or interview, and I'll ask you a few questions to get to know you a little bit better. And then the second part of the process is based on what you tell me and what I learn about you, I'm going to place you with a community agency to talk to. So it's kind of a two-part interview. And then you will meet either in person or virtually with that community partner, community agency. and have a conversation with them and meet with them and make sure everybody agrees that it's a good idea to move forward. So we just want everybody to meet each other at the beginning, have a conversation, and make sure it's a good fit for everyone. We do currently pay on the higher end of federal work study at $12 an hour. Typically, students work between 15 and 20 hours a week. That is contingent upon how much that federal work study award says you have. Let's say you have approximately $3,000 to $3,500 a semester. You could work 20 hours a week and earn all of that money, or come close to it. If you have more in the ballpark, let's say you had $1,500 for the spring semester, it's going to be definitely fewer than 15 hours. So your paycheck comes directly out of that. You become a USF employee when you become part of the program. And you are, so that means you'll set up a direct deposit. All of this is part of the process, and I'll walk you through this as things unfold. So, you'll have an offer letter to sign. You'll have some other paperwork to do from USF. Particularly once you do that paperwork from USF, you never have to do it again. You're locked into the system. Your direct deposit is set up, and you're good to go. So that's helpful to know. There are timesheets that are going to be due every 2 weeks that I have to sign, and that what I call your on-site supervisor at your community agency has to sign, just to confirm your hours, because you're working directly with them day by day, week by week. We track all of that in a very detailed way, and we know exactly to the dollar and the hour how many hours you have left, what is happening with your funding. So when we get about midway through a semester, you're going to receive an email from me, and it's going to say how many hours you have left, to be mindful of that, plan accordingly. We never want you going over your hours, as your paycheck comes directly from that FWS funding. The last thing that's important to note, and last semester, we had approximately 40 students in our program. About half of them had this happen to them. So it's really important I mention it, is that you may get, after everything goes through and you become part of the program, it's happened where a student can receive an email from the Office of Financial Aid that there has been a change in your FWS award. Now, that can occur because maybe you drop a class. Like you should be at least 12 credits to maintain your award, but other things can happen. So you can receive a loan or a grant and accept that. So let's say, for example, you received a loan for $2,000 in the middle of the semester for some reason, and you had $3,000 in FWS. That could decrease it by $2,000, and you're left with $1,000 in FWS. And we just want you to be mindful that these things can happen, and be able to make sure that you talk to Office of Financial Aid before you really accept anything, just so that you're aware. If you get awarded a loan versus having the FWS, my suspicion would be you probably want to work for the FWS award and not have to pay back the loan. So those are the kinds of things that can happen. And our students have been great about letting me know. And I just want you to know that the information up front. So here's my favorite part of the program, is seeing the experiences our students have. So this was a student named Orlando. Orlando had been with us for a few years. And, he talked about how this experience this was with the University Area Community Development Corporation that does a multitude of things in youth development, housing, social services, lots of different things for the community just west of the Tampa campus. And his on-site supervisor noticed that it also allowed him to grow in that communication skill set and take on more, come out of his shell. And as he went along in this experience, something that he did is he worked on a business matrix within his work study position here. And he was able to talk about that experience. And an interview with Cyber Florida, and he went on to become a part-time employee at Cyber Florida. Currently, he is in a full-time internship with Tico Electric Company. And so these kinds of things have been able to happen with our students. And what's interesting about Orlando's case, he started off as a public health major. There was a few classes he wasn't doing so well in, and he had these experiences from his work study position of working on a business matrix and so on. He thought, well, let me look at the College of Business. And so he went into information systems with a concentration in Cyber Florida. So it really changed the trajectory of what he was doing with his academics. So that's really important and interesting to note. This is another student named Delina right here in the middle of the picture. And she talked about how this was an important experience. It opened a lot of doors for her, gave her the opportunity to prioritize, plan, manage, and describe the experience as one of the highlights of her undergraduate career. And then she went on to work with the United Nations Association chapter in Orlando, and then went on to become a graduate student at the University of Florida, and now works with I believe it's KPMG that she works with. And so another example is Kiana, and Kiana's elementary education major. And she was with Moore Elementary before the pandemic, and then when that happened, she's really done a lot of great work in virtual tutoring with the students, and talked about, it's not just about academics, there's the social skills that are being met through the experience she had. Talked about being able to build these relationships with younger students that's related to what her major is. And so where she says, I'm definitely able to put into practice what I'm learning in USF elementary education program. That's the biggest takeaway. So these are just a few examples. There are more that I could cite, but for the sake of time, I'll stop there. And this is information that you can reach me at directly. Dustin Krein at usf.edu, 817-974-4274. If I'm in a meeting or something and I don't answer, please leave a message and I will get back to you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'll stop sharing my screen for now. Lisa, Judith Ann, would you all like to add anything before I stop the recording?
Hi, yes, this is Judith Ann, and I am trying to get my camera on for you all. But I'm Judith Ann McLaughlin, and I'm the director of the Center for Civic Engagement on the St. Petersburg campus. And I was hoping that Rebecca Nero, who's also working in the Center for Civic Engagement, can also introduce herself to you. We're excited to be partners with OCEP in this great program, and we're eager to help you find appropriate placements for you in the St. Petersburg area. And Rebecca, can you say hello also?
Uh-oh.
Okay, we might have technical difficulties there, no worries. But again, Judith Ann McLaughlin, Rebecca Nero in the Center for Civic Engagement on the St. Pete campus. We are eager to collaborate with OCEP and with you on finding a good placement for you. So thank you for joining us.
Lisa, would you like to add anything?
Yes, perfect. I can share briefly. I'm Lisa Schaus, Director of Career Services, and Career Services can absolutely assist you when it comes to finding and applying for any federal work study jobs, including the CEAP program. And so if you need help with writing your resume, finding and applying for jobs within Handshake, which is where we will have those posted so you can apply, feel free to stop by and see us in the second floor of the Student Life Center. We're happy to assist with any part of finding a job process. So even if something doesn't work out, we can help you with looking for other opportunities as well. So just come and see us in the second floor or visit us online. So you can find us, and if you Google Career Services under the USF website, you will find the St. Pete Career Services site. It's probably the easiest way than writing it all out. So feel free to check us out. We have online virtual drop-ins as well as in-person drop-in times. You don't have to have an appointment, just come and see us, and we'll help you with resumes or getting applied to those positions that are available. So, all right.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording and appreciate everyone's time today.